What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Draymond Green Show YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like the post that you love. Thank you. Very, very important moment in NBA history. And it's important now on an individual level. This guy is so incredible. It will soon be important on a team level as well with the trajectory of his career. Drafting Luka Doncic. And it took a trade for y'all to do that. Just talk to me about how that came about, how y'all knew Luka was the guy. Because I have a friend that played overseas, played EuroLeague, and when Luka was like 17 years old, 16, he's like, yo, it's this 16, 17-year-old over here on Real Madrid. I'm telling y'all, he gonna be the next one. And a couple of me and my boys was like, yo, you don't think he too slow? You don't think? And he's like, no, I'm telling you, he gonna get to whatever spot he want to get to. He's smart, he shoot. Like, talk to me about drafting Luka, and what was that process like?
So, like, our scouts had it DeAndre Ayton number one, and our analytics had Luka number one, right? And so it was, wasn't a battle, right? Because we knew Ayton was going to go number one, right? Then the question was, what happens next?
Yes.
We're thinking for sure, Luka's going number two because there's a connection there, everything, right? And didn't happen, right? Gets to number three. And first of all, the crazy part is, I'm not going to use the word, but we worked hard to have the third worst record in the NBA. We fell right to number five. The Mavs have never moved up in the draft, never moved up, only stayed the same or gone down. So we fall to five. And so we're hearing that the Hawks want Trae. And the general managers are talking, not getting done. So about 30 minutes to go. It's coming up to our time, either get it done or we're not going to have a chance. And so I ended up getting on the phone with the Hawks owner, and we hashed it out ourselves. And it was like, look, the general managers, they're all over negotiating, owner to owner, let's just get this done. And with about 15 minutes to go before our pick, we got it done.
See, now that's a pro move, Mark, because Luka, and by the way, Trae Young has had an incredible career. Great career. But Luka's generational. Like, Luka is on any given night the best player in the NBA. Like, so Luka's generational. To me, it's just a little different. Trae is great. I think Trae is incredible.
But you just don't know, right? I mean, look, we make the trade and we go to China to play. And Sean Marion, and I forget who else from the NBA, you know how they have ambassadors when you go overseas and everything. And they're sitting next to me and he's starting to play. I'm like, tell me what you think. Tell me, because you just don't know, right? You just don't know until you know. And, nobody picks somebody at the top of the draft thinking they suck.
Yes, that's a fact.
Whatever it is that you see, you're just praying to God that that's what comes through. And so we don't know. And in the preseason, you're starting to see little glimmers. And then the regular season, he's still getting started and still finding his way. And then all of a sudden you start seeing these things. You're like, all right, this is the guy.
Absolutely. So I have a question to ask you, because you said you got on the phone with the Hawks owner, I'm assuming Tony Resler. Okay, so I'm assuming you got on with Tony. And at this time, Tony's, 2 years into owning the Hawks, if even 2 years. Pretty fairly new. You've now been in this for 20 years. Is that a classic moment of saying, when you hire a general manager, let them do their job? And here's why I asked that. Because you, who's been in it for 20 years, you and Joe are probably as much of decision makers when it comes to basketball as there are of any owners in the NBA. And you get on the phone and you hash this out with Tony, but the difference between Luka and Trae has been a fireable offense for other people. And
But the Hawks go to the conference finals his rookie year, right?
Yes.
You just don't know. And they're looking brilliant. We don't make the playoffs, right? And no, we make the playoffs. We didn't make the playoffs that first year, right?
Yeah.
And so they're looking like heroes, right?
Yes.
When you get to the conference finals and we haven't made the playoffs. And so you just don't know. And it just takes time. And like we were talking earlier, you can have a generational player. You can have Michael Jordan. You can have LeBron. LeBron didn't make the playoffs his first year.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
mm-hmm.
Michael didn't make the playoffs his first couple years.
Absolutely.
And so it takes a team.
For sure. Vlade Divac lost his job over that because he drafted Marvin Bagley, if I'm not mistaken. Travis Schlenk has been out in Atlanta. But that doesn't seem like your way to go. Like, you had Donnie for years. Like, that you ironically, Pittsburgh Steelers, you don't seem to flip guys much. What's your take on building front offices and coaches and retaining them? Because they get flipped over like nobody's tomorrow around this league, but you don't quite take that approach.
Yeah, I mean, until you got something better to go to, why would you change, right? Hiring a coach in particular is the hardest job in professional sports because they walk in the door and they're smart, right? That's why they've got the opportunity to be a head coach in the NBA. So they can tell you point by point by point what's already wrong with your team. And they can tell you what they think they want to do to get it there and what you need to do. And it's hard to say no to. So you got to look at the non-obvious factors. Like when we got Rick, and it depends on your team too. So like when we went from Avery Johnson to Rick, we had the team that we had, but we needed just a different kind of voice, right? And then when Rick left, it was like, okay, let's get a different kind of voice with Jay Kidd, you know, because Nico was coming in at the same time too. And so, you know, unless there's a reason to change or I've got something better, why change?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I definitely understand that. And continuing on the lane of basketball and what you've done with the Mavericks, Dirk, obviously has statue, obviously Hall of Fame, obviously championship, MVP, more accolades up until this point. But do you think that Luka Doncic has a chance to be the greatest Maverick ever? Like, obviously, Dirk is who Dirk is.
Yeah, I'm no disrespect to Dirk. Dirk knows I love him to death, right? Dirty and I go way, way back. But Dirk will be the first one to tell you Luka's better.
Interesting. That's interesting. Dirk put me in the blender at 40, barely being able to run, man. So I got nothing better.
They put jump over the line, right? But he can shoot and he's smart, but you needed to get him the ball. That's the difference, you know? And that's part of what's changed. Like, you almost have to have a 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" guy who can control the ball and get a shot, you know, or get shots for others, because the game is so much faster and so much more skilled, right? Whereas before, you knew that there would be somebody good guarding Dirk and they would double him, but you just had to get him the ball in one of his spots and let him go to work. Right?
Absolutely.
The game's changed. You can't just do that anymore.
All right, the NBA season is in full swing, coming down the stretch. Then we move right into the playoffs in April, May, and June. I can't wait. Spice things up with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA right now. All you have to do is put down $5 and get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Pretty good trade-off. I pay $5, I get $150. North Carolina listeners, do not forget. Welcome to the party. DraftKings Sportsbook now live in your state, North Carolina. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Takes 90 seconds. The code is Colin, C-O-L-I-N. Again, 90 seconds. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app. Put in Colin. New customers bet $5, get $150 back in bonus bets instantly. That is the trade. All right? The code is always Colin. The crown is yours.